us. We are dying. America, I'm begging. Save our life. Look at this one. Let's use them. Let's use them. Please, why allow us to survive? Please, send your men to come and save us. Because they have already finished the man to finish us. Also, we have nobody. Only God in heaven.
US versus Nigeria. Is there a genocide against Christians? What it means for 2027? Across the world, the question of religious freedom in Nigeria is again at the center of international attention. A recent statement from the United States Congress has described Nigeria as the deadliest place on earth to be a Christian. According to the US lawmakers, particularly Congressman Chris Smith and Senator Ted Cruz.
We're also going to talk about legislation I introduced this week to protect Christians in Nigeria. Nigeria has seen a persecution of Christians that has been staggering. Just this week, over 60 people were murdered by jihadists, by radical Islamists in northeastern Nigeria. They executed soldiers. They went house to house. This pattern of targeting Christians, targeting Catholic priests, targeting individual men, women, and children is horrific. And my legislation would put real consequences on the government of Nigeria and those.
Over 50,000 Christians have been killed since 2009 by extremist groups like Boko Haram, ISWAP, and armed militia. They allege that the Nigerian government has failed to protect its Christian population, and some even called for sanctions and an arms embargo on Nigeria. This bold claim has since divided opinions, both within Nigeria and internationally. In Washington, several members of the US Congress argue that Nigeria is witnessing a slow-motion genocide. They point to countless incidents, church bombings, the burning of villages, and targeted assassination of priests and pastors. Reports by international groups like Open Doors, Amnesty International, and Genocide Watch lists Nigeria is among the top 3 most dangerous countries in the world to be a Christian. Senator Ted Cruz went even further, saying, "The United States knows all those behind the genocidal massacre of Christians in Nigeria, and we shall hold them accountable." To many Western observers, the facts seems obvious. Entire Christian communities in northern Nigeria have been wiped out, women kidnapped, children orphaned, and churches destroyed. And back home, the Nigerian House of Representatives have condemned the US report, describing it as unfair and politically motivated attempt to damage Nigeria's image. Lawmakers insist that the violence in Plateau, Benue, Kaduna, and Zamfara is driven by banditry, farmer header crashes, and poverty, not religion. They say both Muslims and Christians have suffered in equal measure and that the foreign narrative is exaggerated. In the same tone, the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN), through its Director of National Issues, Abimbola Ayuba, also stated that the attacks across the country are patternless and not specifically targeted at Christians. However, that statement has stirred outrage. Many Christians, especially in northern communities, accused CAN of downplaying their suffering and protecting political interests instead of defending the truth. Behind the headlines are human stories, the kind that never leave the heart. Eunice Elisha Olawale, a mother of 7, was murdered in Kubwa, Abuja, while preaching the gospel at dawn in 2016, just a month earlier. Bridget Abahime, a Deeper Life member in Kano, was lynched over false allegation of blaspheming. Christiana Oluwasinsin, a school teacher in Gombe, was stabbed to death in 2007 by students who accused her of disrespecting the Quran. And more recently, Deborah Samuel, a Christian student in Sokoto, was beaten and burnt alive after a WhatsApp argument. These tragedies are not isolated. Churches have been burned in southern Kaduna, priests kidnapped in Benue, and pastors attacked in Borno. Even evangelist Musa Bello Musa, a man who converted from Islam to Christianity, is now facing death threats online, with extremists calling for him to be killed. In the Senate, Senator Garaba Musa Meidoki from KB South spoke with emotion. Please save our lives, save our people, keep your roads or schools for now. Our people's lives are in danger. It was a rare moment of honesty in Nigeria's upper chamber, reflecting the helplessness many citizens feel for families who have buried loved ones. The question is simple. When will justice come? During the Jonathan administration, many Christian leaders openly spoke against insecurity and injustice. Today, however, many of those same voices, including highly respected pastors, are silent. Apart from Pastor Adeboye, few have openly condemned the current killings. Some Nigerians are now asking, has politics silenced the pulpit? And if faith leaders stay quiet, who will speak for the persecuted? As Nigeria heads towards the 2027 general elections, this issue may carry serious political and diplomatic consequences, with both President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima being Muslims. Critics believe the administration must show fairness and protection for all citizens, especially religious minorities. If the US and other Western nations move ahead with sanctions of arms restrictions, it could affect Nigeria's military operations, foreign investment, and global image. But beyond politics, it could also put pressure on the government to take a stronger stand against religiously motivated violence. The 2027 race may not only be about the economy, it could also test Nigeria's unity, its conscience, and its moral standing before the world. Now, Nigerians must ask themselves, do you believe the US government is right that Christians are facing genocide in Nigeria? Do you agree with the Nigerian government that the killings are random, not religious? And finally, what should leaders, churches, and communities do before 2027 to stop the bloodshed once and for all? Finally, whether we call it terrorism or genocide, one thing is clear. Too many innocent Nigerians are dying. The world is watching, and history will remember not only the killers, but also the silence of those who had the power to speak. This is Chinick TV, giving you both sides of the story and letting you, the people, decide.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to bring attention to the tragedy Christians in Nigeria are experiencing. The deadly terrorist organization Boko Haram is trying to eliminate the Christian faith from Nigeria. This is the same terrorist group that kidnapped dozens of young schoolgirls and burned innocent civilians alive in cages. According to reports, over 3.5 million people have been forced to flee their homes. 3 churches are destroyed every single day. 7,000 Christians were massacred this year alone, and the faithful must now meet in secret or in burnt-out sanctuaries. Sadly, the world is turning a blind eye to the plight of Christians in Nigeria. There are no embedded journalists covering the violence. There are not daily updates. Politicians around the world are not asked questions about how they will respond. We cannot ignore this violence and tragic loss of life. We must speak out and shine a light on what's happening so that people can donate to relief efforts and provide support to those displaced by violence. To my brothers and sisters in Christ, we know you know the power of prayer. We will not forget you. Stay strong. Keep the faith.